That's why I like starting off with how much do I need in a monthly income to have the retirement I want? You've got to consider inflation too.
Right.
If you're retiring, in 20 years from now, if you need $8,000 a month to have the lifestyle you want in retirement, well, guess what? You're probably going to need almost twice that in real dollars to have the same buying power 20 years from now.
Right.
That's how significant of an impact inflation makes. I mean, give me some thoughts on that one. I feel like I'm going on a preacher rant here.
Well, you're definitely more the expert in this field, but yeah, I mean, the inflation piece is something that I've never, I mean, I sat with probably 3 financial planners and they never talked to me about inflation prior to working with you. It was not even a conversation. And so when I went through numbers with you the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, like I never thought about that. And then also, as far as like you were saying, I mean, $1 million in the bank to think 4%, 40 or 3%, so 30 to 40,000 a year. Like, I mean, and I hear people on a regular basis say, oh my gosh, we finally saved up $1 million in our 401k. And it's like what I've learned from you and what I know now, like the taxes that are going to be pulled from that. And like, it's not a dream retirement, right? For the way people really want to live. And so it's a rude awakening. I mean, and I'm not prepared either. I'm moving in the right direction, but I was in network marketing and I thought, oh, I'll just keep making money. And didn't have anything set up. So yeah, there's a lot of factors.
Yeah. And that's a big part of it too. And having a passive income business like, network marketing, and I know you do some great things in that, it's something that, that's another stream of income. And that's what it's all about. It's not the asset in retirement. It's what the asset that the income that the asset generates, right? That's the real draw. And that's what you're looking for. You're not living on the asset. You're living on the income that it generates. Right. So, okay, if I want to keep that asset in place, guess what? Well, if you're pulling out 3% to avoid a spin down mode, because think about it, $1 million lasting 20 years plus $1 million is really like $500,600,000 in buying power. Oh, don't forget, you got to cut the devil wants his due, right? His pound of flesh, the IRS. They want their taxes, is what I'm saying. So you look at that, and the other thing that people don't consider too, and I want to be real about this, is healthcare costs. 95% of us are not getting healthier as we get older, guys. And so that's a situation where your healthcare costs are going to go up. And I don't know if you've looked at healthcare costs in America. It ain't cheap, right? Yeah. And so that's something that you've got to be aware of. Do you have a plan in place to account for that, or at least protect your assets in the event that something happened? And lastly, going back to this is taxes. I'm sick of hearing you'll be in a lower tax bracket at retirement, and that is not the answer unless you take a massive pay cut. But, reality is you've lost all your tax deductions going into retirement. You're not putting money in a 401k or a pre-tax situation anymore. You're pulling it out. You're probably not doing a lot of tithing and charity. You're donating your time, which, now that you have the time and you believe in the cause, more power to you. That's awesome, but you can't write it off on your taxes. Mortgage is probably paid down. All mortgage interest is written up front, right? And if you have it paid off, guess what? And then lastly, your kids, you don't get to write those kids off anymore. They may still be living in your basement, but you're not getting the tax benefit of it. So going back to what you were talking about, with the network marketing piece, that's great to have a business in the retirement years in order to, get those tax breaks and keep some of them. So those are kind of the 5 key factors. What is your target number? Is the 4% rule or really the 3% rule going to work for you? Probably not. Inflation impact to your retirement, healthcare impact to your retirement, and what are those taxes? How are they going to, impact it? So shifting from that, those are the things to kind of focus on.